So this is part 4 of this group of videos, and we're going to go over using Windows XP. I've had this laptop installed with Windows XP now for about a week almost that I've been playing around with it and actually using it. A couple things, the speakers, which you can't see in this video, I'll move the camera here. The speakers here are actually really good under 50% volume. They go very loud. They're right here in the front. They go very loud. However, if you go above 50%, they start to blare real bad. I don't know if that's just because of age. I don't remember them doing that on the system I actually owned originally. So I'm thinking that that's an age thing. So I'll see if I can't pick up a new sound bar. I haven't seen one, but I'll look. The touchpad is pretty good, actually. A lot of systems have pretty poor touchpads on them when these older systems. Nothing compared to today's touchpads. However, this one's pretty decent. It's an appropriate size for the screen and resolution. It tracks pretty good. The scroll, that's what this orange bar is to tell you scroll here or here. The drivers I was able to find don't allow that to work, and I don't know why. The keyboard is a pleasure to type on. I think it's just rubber domes. It's not a actual switch. It's very uncommon in laptops, but it has the right amount of travel. Feels good. I'm very accurate. I'm a touch typist, so I am very on this. I'm very accurate on the system. I type quickly on it with very few errors. So it's a pleasure to type on, except for one thing. This area of the system gets quite warm when you're using it and you're doing anything that is very intensive, which is funny because the CPU is back here. You wouldn't think that this part gets warm. So I'm not quite sure what generates the heat here. This is where the PCMCIA slot is. I don't have drivers for this singular card. I just leave it in there so there's not a blank spot. I guess I could remove it and see if it stays warm. I haven't done that yet. But overall, the use of it has been pretty decent. I'll go over the operating system itself here in a moment, but if it was a faster machine and maybe a little bit lighter, I could actually see this using this machine for a while. In fact, if you're not trying to do anything too intensive on it, if your tasks are pretty basic, this laptop really only has two drawbacks. One is the sheer weight of the machine. Trying to lug it around, it weighs a ton. It's almost 5.5 pounds with the battery, with the power cord. And two, battery life on it is not great. The battery is tired, it's a little old, so I get about an hour to an hour and a half of battery life, where some of these newer systems get upwards of 4, 6, 8 hours if you drop your settings down. And so those are the two drawbacks. So I'm going to go ahead and boot it up now, and while it's booting up, I'll kind of talk about some of the issues I've run into with this system. I did install Windows XP, and we'll go over that here in a few moments. Let me go ahead and stop the movie, adjust the camera, and we'll go from there. Alright, so in booting, we run into the first problem that I run into with this system and Windows XP. For whatever reason, the operating system cannot create a paging file, and I think that has to do with the storage media. I'm using that Compaq flash adapter because it was less expensive to go that way than buying an SSD, and I think it sees it as flash media, and so it can't create the paging file on removable media. The other problem I run into is this. This is the number of CDs I've had to create to install Windows on this system. Now I can get past this by just hitting Control-Alt-Delete, but yeah, it beeps and it just hangs here until I hit Control-Alt-Delete, and then we can boot in the operating system. If I go to right-click my computer, and Properties, and Advanced, and Settings. Advanced. Windows created a temporary paging file on the computer because the problem occurred when your paging file configuration when you started your computer. Total page file for all of this may be somewhat larger than the size you specified. So, yeah, that's Yeah, total paging file size for all drives is 0 megabytes, and I can't create a paging file. It just won't let me. I've tried everything I can think of. I've installed Windows XP 3 or 4 times trying to get it, and so that's problem number one. I was going to do some performance testing, and I actually paid for performance test Passmark software. Normally I just do their free trial, but I thought I use it enough that I'd justify buying the license and installing on here. But I keep getting this message: your evaluation time has expired. So it's thinking that we're installing it to a USB or flash media. So, but I will bring up, I can run Crystal Disk Mark. We'll run all that, and while that's running, I'll kind of go over what happened when I was trying to install Windows XP. So the code that's on the bottom of this is for Windows XP Home, not Service Pack 1, 2, 3, or just Home. So I installed Home. I was able to use the license key that's on the bottom of the laptop, but I couldn't then do anything else. I couldn't install applications because it was I couldn't install drivers. I couldn't even upgrade to Windows XP Service Pack 1 because I couldn't get an internet connection, because there was no way for me to install the drivers for the network to work. It was a mess. It just was not functioning. So I tried to download and activate Windows XP Service Pack 3 upgrade. That didn't work, so I had to upgrade, or downloaded Service Pack 1 upgrade first, but that wouldn't work because my Windows was not activated, but it couldn't reach the activation service to activate, and so I could never get past that point. So I downloaded a cracked version of Windows XP XP Pro Service Pack 3. Now I'm just using it temporarily. I don't plan on keeping it on here. It's just for demonstration purposes. And I do have a valid license of Windows XP Pro even, but I couldn't use it because it looks like Microsoft has turned off their validation servers. So if you plan on using Windows XP on any system, you're probably going to have to use a cracked version that doesn't require you to go out to an activation server, because it doesn't seem to exist. At least I haven't been able to reach it with this system, even when I got the internet working. And then as far as drivers go, I had a tough time finding drivers. HP recently pulled a bunch of older hardware support from their website. Up until just a year ago, I could still find the drivers for this system on HP's website, and that's no longer the case. So I had to go out to some very sketchy websites and download the drivers, and I downloaded some drivers multiple times, and I was still missing other drivers. And it took quite a while and a couple of discs of drivers from downloading them on another computer, burning them to disk, and then bringing them over to this system, because I couldn't even use the USB drives on this until I was able to get the drivers for the chipset. So that was a pain, and it took a couple of days to get Windows XP installed and running, and it was a lot of work. And that's really not that different than it used to be, unless you had the installed disks from that manufacturer for that computer. It was hard to find the drivers, and some companies like HP were a little bit better where they had the drivers on their website. But if for whatever reason you add something new or had a different piece of hardware or whatever, it was a lot of work to install drivers. My experience with Windows 10 is that if you make changes or anything, Windows is able to pick up those changes, has drivers for that new hardware long before you ever even try to install it. So as far as just getting up to a running status with Windows XP, it's a lot more difficult than it is on a modern computer with Windows 10. Now, I am going to try to install Windows 10 on this computer, and I actually have tried, and I'll go over that experience here in a bit. But at this point, I would not say it's doable unless I get different storage media, because this system, because of the storage media in it, Windows 10 couldn't find the hard drive or the storage media. At least didn't see it as storage media it could use to install Windows 10 on. Now, Windows XP, so just going over Crystal Disk, you can see the drive is not very fast. You don't expect it to be with the type of drive that is in there. Go ahead and stop this. It's taking a long time. So, and we'll go ahead and bring up CPU-Z as well. Anyway, CPU-Z is up. You have the Turion 64ML37. It's a Lancaster chipset, socket 754, 90 nanometer, which is crazy because current chips coming out are 14 nanometer. They're just minuscule compared to this. This is a big old honking dinosaur. There's the instructions that it has on it. It's stepping its speed up and down, voltage up and down as we sit here and do things. It's going between 1 and 1.45 volts. Multipliers going between 4 and 10, with the megahertz going up to 2,000 megahertz or 2 gigahertz. Main board, it's an ATI Express 200, and we have 2 gigabytes of DDR memory. And this, of course, is only single channel since dual channel didn't come out for another few years. Now, when you install Windows XP Service Pack 2, the version of Internet Explorer that you get is version 8, and it's pretty outdated. And a lot of websites won't display properly in Internet Explorer 8, but it will work in the latest version of Google Chrome. Now, the last time I tried to do this, Google Chrome did not have a version that would run on on XP. In fact, I tried to run it and was told that it was not a supported operating system, and then it just crashed out. We'll pull a video from my channel here. I just brought up YouTube. And one thing that I've noticed with this computer, bring up Task Manager, YouTube is quite choppy, even if you drop it to the lowest resolution, and we'll even shrink it so it's taking up as little screen as possible. So we're only at 144p, and you can see the resources aren't 100% consumed, so you'd think that that it would be able to run this just fine, and it's buffered plenty, but the audio is pretty choppy and the video gets choppy. And if we try to maximize it, now I believe this pushes the CPU up to 100% utilized, but you can hear how choppy my voice is, and you can see how choppy the video is, so that's one problem. But when you're playing DVDs or video that you've ripped, it doesn't seem to have that problem. I was able to play this last year. I've been working on recording all of our DVDs after one of my kids ruined one of our DVDs to digital media so that we could watch them on any system without having to pull out a DVD. And this played those just fine. I originally ripped them from the DVD to MKV, and then from there I ripped them to an MP4 video. And this played them just fine without any stutter or issue. So as far as playing video, I'm not quite sure what the problem is with YouTube specifically, because it doesn't consume all the resources when you have it in a small window. So I don't know if that's just a driver issue or just a decompression issue, but you would think if it was that, it would be consuming full resources. Anyways, one of the reasons why I did this is I've always wanted to play this game that I played when I was a kid. It was Star Wars Racer, and I have the box here with the lovely box art. Go ahead and plug it in. And we'll just play part of a race here. Now this is an older game. It came out long before this computer was made, and so it's very playable on this machine. So let me have to turn the volume down a bit. I like the dedicated volume up and volume down keys there. So that's too quiet. Oh, now it's too loud. You can hear the blariness of the speakers. In fact, this game you actually don't even really use the mouse at all. It's almost all keyboard. And you can hear that CD-ROM spin up. That's something I don't miss in modern games that you download through like Steam or whatever. I'm trying to play it through the camera, which is not working real well. Oh, I changed my view there. And this is just the first level you play, and so it's pretty easy, pretty basic. And some aspects of this game that are fun is you can hit stuff like that, and you actually damage your ship, and you have to repair it. See that in the bottom left corner? You also can slam into stuff and blow up, which I'll do. Oh, I just hurt myself. I didn't blow up. There we go. We'll quit this race. Yes, I'm sure. So, and then other aspects of this game is you can inspect your vehicle, so you can go around and look at it. As you win more races, you win more people you can play, as well as upgrades. You win money to upgrade your vehicle, so you can look at your different parts, and then you can buy droids to work on your vehicle. So you can buy parts here. And of course, it has characters from the movie.
Look around! I got a lot of junk.
And he gets really annoying pretty quick.
You're gonna lose unless you upgrade your pod racer, I think.
You can change your vehicle. So, pretty basic game in just that it's just a basic racing game, but it has a lot of sentimental value for me. Quit. A game that's a little bit more modern that I play and have played is Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. Now this one, so with the Star Wars Racer, have to run that at, I can run that at full graphics. The Jedi Academy I cannot. I have to drop the graphics down a bit. And we'll go to setup. is now you can tell as a teenager I was very much into Star Wars. I played Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy, Knights of the Old Republic. That was a big one I played a lot of. In fact, I have that here. There's my Knights of the Old Republic, my original disc. And also Warcraft. This game is more mouse and keyboard, just like any other traditional game. Oh, and I walked off the cliff and died. Anyways, we'll end that here. Exit the program. Yes. So, as far as older games that I played when I had this laptop, obviously it works great for those for those games. I'm quite pleased with it. And really, at this point, I need to do one of two things. I actually need to do two things. I need to figure out a different storage, because here I'll throw in my Windows 10 install disk that I created, just a DVD. Take out Jedi Knight. And watch, it'll work this time, but last time I tried to do this, it told me that it could not find a hard drive to install to. Now I am going to be installing the 32-bit version of Windows 10 for a couple reasons. One, it takes up less space than the 64-bit version, several gigs actually. And two, even though this has a 64-bit processor, without the 4 gigs of memory, there just isn't a whole lot of purpose behind having a 64-bit version of the operating system. So we can't run it. So we're going to go ahead and shut this down, and we'll shut it down and turn it back on. And this has a very gloss screen. But the screen on this is excellent. That's one of the best things about this. The viewing angles on the screen are great. The color depth is great. It's actually an excellent screen. A lot of these cheaper systems that you get now don't have very good screens. And it's disappointing. And it's very gloss. My home office is inside of my walk-in closet. And it's not very big. It's loading the disk now. AnyKitty boot from CD. And this does take a few moments to load up here, so we'll go ahead and stop the video, because we're not going to wait for it to load, because it does take a while. Because when you do it off a USB drive, it's fairly quick, but reading off a disk is fairly slow. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Alright, so here we are at the Windows 10 install. Now, the reason why I'm picking Windows 10 over Windows 7 is I actually tried Windows 7 on one of these computers before, and it was pretty unusable, to be perfectly honest. It was slow and buggy, and a hard time finding drivers, which will probably be the case with Windows 10 as well. But in my experience, Windows 10 has given me a boost in performance over Windows 7 on older systems. Anywhere from a 10 to 20% better performance in an older system than Windows 7. So I'm really hoping that that's the case with this system. But we'll just go through, I'll just show you the problem I run into. And it took about 5 minutes to load to that point, which isn't super long, but definitely a measurable amount of time. With a lot of disk spinning and running. Okay, so I have a product key, but I won't put it in here since I can skip this part for now. We'll just go with Windows 10 Home, just basic. don't need the additional features of Pro, and I have a available home license. So we accept the software agreement, and we're going to do a custom, and there's no discs. So I think this is a problem in that it does not find the removable media as a disk it can install on. Now I did find a 40 gig IDE drive that I have, and I may go ahead and install Windows 10 on that. But the problem with that is that it is only at like a 4200 RPM drive. It is painfully slow. It is 40 gigs, so it is something I can use, and I may do that. I may go ahead, since I'm going to be taking it apart to install the 2 screws for that daughter board anyways, I may go ahead and install that drive. Just install Windows 10 and give it a go, see if I can even get the process going as far as drivers and things like that go. So if you're interested in that, let me know down in the comment section below, and I will throw that together if people are actually interested in seeing Windows 10 on this computer. So anyways, thank you for watching this group of videos. I really appreciate it. Tell me what you think of this. If you're interested in seeing something more like this, maybe with a different system or different type of system, I'm happy to, try to meet that. I've had a lot of fun with this system so far. Obviously there's some more I'm going to and want to do with it. But if people are interested and want to give me some suggestions, either comment in the comment section down below, or there's a link to my Reddit, my subreddit. Click on that, go on there, make some suggestions on there. I go in and check that every day or so. And so if I get a suggestion there, I'll definitely take a look. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a great day.